This is easy.
What is up, GOAT World? It is me, your boy JDZ, and I'm back at you again with another GOAT format video. Today in this video, I'm going to go over the top 8 deck lists on PWCQ 49. It just finished. Go ahead and like and subscribe to this video and get it to the comment section and let me know what you think about these top 8 deck lists. PWCQ 49 was an absolute treat, as they always often are. Coming on in at number 8. Number 8, we're starting this thing off in a spicy variety. The spice of life is in as 8th place Milked F4B. I know this duelist gets active in the Go format Friday tournaments, comes out and plays those decks, elects to bring this spice monstrosity to this tournament. Coming on in with Dark Magician of Chaos, Jinzo, Zaborg, Fusilier the Dual Mode Beast, and Air Knight Parshaft, all in the main deck, along with this Morphing Jar, the Abyss Soldier, the Missy Tomato. This is calamity. Okay, this is calamity. You got the scapegoats, you got the metas, you got the creature swap, you got one knock, one mind con. That is just so funny. And one brain control. This deck just has a little bit of everything going on. It seems like the plan with this deck is just to confuse and befuddle your opposition into submission. They won't know what the hell is coming at you. And because you got Decree, you got traps, you got everything. This deck is a hodgepodge, but guess what? It worked out for Milked, and he was able to cruise this thing to a top 8 finish. I love this strategy, the Chaos Calamity strategy. This is a true chaos deck right here. This is true chaos all around. In the side deck, we have Breaker, the Magical Warrior, 2 Berserker Gorillas, double Kaiku, Cyber Jar, just more calamity and chaos going on in the side deck. I think it is really cool. Seeing Air Knight in a topping performance in a top deck is really hilarious. In 2023, almost 2024, Jinzo still in the deck. I think this is really funny. How good it is, I don't know. It was good enough for Milk to navigate to a top 8 finish, so maybe it's pretty decent. I think it's got a very high ceiling. You can high roll your way right through this thing with DMOC, Call of Hunter, Premature Burial, Air Knight. You got Scapegoat Swap. I think it can get active. So it seems pretty good. Huge shout out to you, Milk It. Maybe you can keep rocking and rolling this Chaos Calamity strategy on in to a first place victory next time and get to the GOAT Format World Championship. All right, moving on. We got 7th place. We have Herney Hog. Herney Hog playing the Cat Burn strategy. Cat Burn, and this is a deck that I don't understand why this deck isn't played at a significantly higher clip. I think this deck is a meta threat. This is a meta contending deck. This deck is so dynamic, it is so powerful, and it is kind of consistent too. Maybe with all the warriors we have in our metagame, maybe playing this deck might be at a deficit because they can just jump all over you and beat you down too fast before you can get to all your combo stuff, because it is a combo deck at the end of the day. Rescue Cat, Last Will, Giant Grenade can typically end the game. I like the ratios that you got laid out here for us today. You got the 1 Mindless Radiant, the 3 Wombats, the 3 Pandas. I don't hate it. You got the 3 Giant Grenade, but you're also playing this burn package just with 2 Just Desserts and maxing out the Secret Barrel. No knocks in the main deck, Mind Control in the main deck. I think that Mind Control is probably having some great effects for this duelist all day yesterday as well. So I think this is pretty cool. This is a pretty cool little strat. You got the Stein in there for another Last Will target. I think this is a solid strategy, and I think more duelists should probably think about experimenting with this deck. This is another deck that can have some angles in this metagame and make some noise. I think this is a truly solid strategy, and not a lot of people play it. It is kind of complicated. It is kind of complex. You have to know when to pop what, when to set what, when to get the most burn damage in, when to try to be aggressive. So there is some things you do have to learn before you start playing with the strategy, but I still think it is a solid strat, and I think Herney Hog has been playing this deck for a really long time, so he's got the answers. So maybe Herney Hog can push this thing to the next level, get a dub with this Rescue Cat Burn strategy. But other than that, I think it is really solid. Make sure you get into the comment section and tell me what you think about the Rescue Burn Cat deck. I think it is cool. Shout out to Herney Hog for your 7th place finish. All right. Moving on to 6th place, we have the GOAT Control strategy, is what we're going to call this. GOAT Control, played by Kit 7424. So we got 2 GOAT Control. We have a Rescue Cat deck. I think in the top 8 was Kit 7424 playing the Zaborg version of a GOAT Control deck with Spies and Reapers. We've seen a deck like this before with a lot of defensive monster options. You got the Zaborg as your over the top pushback play. You have triple copy of Magician of Faith in your main deck. I don't hate that. You only have 2 of the Metamorphosis, 2 Scapegoats, so you will have a little extra level 1s to get your Light and Dark online immediately. I think it's solid. You got Reaper in there. Reaper is another card I wanted to kind of highlight, as Reaper is picking up some significant steam in the beginning of this season. I think a lot of duels are experimenting with Spirit Reaper. This duel has Upstart Goblin in the main deck. Got some good stuff going on with this very rigid Go control deck. I think this is also pretty solid. They're all going to be solid as always. You guys know what the vibe is, but I'm fascinated to see how the game is starting to reflect what is happening in these PWCQs. Specifically, the Warrior strategy has been all over the place. So seeing that these duelists coming back in, playing control decks, seeing Scapegoats coming back in, experimenting with this board, experimenting with these Spirit Reapers, I think that's really cool to see people adapting to what the game is doing and to cycle this meta a little bit. So I think this deck is also pretty cool. I think Kit was playing pretty well. You got the Hollow Life Barriers in the side deck. You have 1 more Solemn Judgment in the side deck, 1 more Trap to Shoot, just ratio stuff in the side deck. Nothing too crazy going on the side deck. Seems pretty up and down and straightforward as well. Huge shout out to you, Kit, for your 6th place finish. And let's see if you can push it over the top as well. Coming in at number 5 in 5th place, we got SDL Killer. And your eyes don't deceive you. This duelist is not playing the Warrior strategy. In fact, he's playing the Earth Aggro strategy. Looking very similar to the deck that Shifty topped the GOAT Format World Championship with, pretty standard ratios by that same account. You have that 1 Magician of Faith, the Kaiku, the Ghost Destroyers in the main deck. Everything else seems pretty standard. The 1 of Book of Moon, the double Smashing Ground, the triple Trap Does Shoot, trying to get real aggressive, trying to see the hand, trying to do what he's got to do with the Earth strategy. I think it's really cool. SDL trying to branch out, trying to find a different thing, just trying to get some legs back under himself and get after some dubs, playing a new strat. Put the Warriors down for a little while, pick up the Earth. I think that is pretty neat. In the side deck, you got some text in there. You got the Bottomless Trap Hole and the Final Attack Orders. Final Attack Orders in Earth might be a cool little inclusion, especially if you're playing against Scapegoat-based strategies. You can make sure all that stuff is shifted to attack position. Your Goblin Attack Force won't get their summoning attack sickness or whatever the hell they got to do when they switch to defense position. I think that's another cool tech. The issue I have with that is that Gigantes is going to conflict directly with that. If they attack into your Gigantes, guess what? They're automatically going to get rid of your Final Attack Orders as well. So that could be a problem. Everything else seems pretty standard in this Earth deck. I like the Genzo. I like the Mobius. I like the Brain Control. Those things were having great effects for this duelist all day, as we saw him a few times on the stream. As always, that stream is going to be live and direct on this channel. Make sure you go back, check out that stream in its entirety, and you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. Everything else seems pretty solid. Earth is a real deck. It is a solid deck in our format, and I like to see what SDL is cooking with right here, playing something different, get into this bag a little bit. All right, coming in at number 4. At number 4, we have the duelist Putting in My Hand. Pim is in the building playing this 10 trap Chaos Turbo deck, and not the 10 traps you would think of. You got the Trap Trinity, but you have 3 Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, 3 Jar of Greaves, and 1 Magic Drain. This duelist is a big believer in the Magic Drain technology. You got 10 traps, 10 spells. Monster lineup is standard. Spell lineup is standard. Trap lineup is very not standard. I think this is some cool stuff. Seeing that Wing Blast maxed out like that, that might be something cool. That might be something to consider, as you're not playing any Trap Dust Shoots, you're not playing any Solemn Judgments, just maxing out the Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. And we saw one of the matches when Penn was on stream. He had an excellent run throughout Dogtown. We saw him able to use the Wing Blast in multitude and double stack the opponent's deck. And when that happened, it's just really, really hard to come back from that, because they're just getting so many cards and they're getting so far ahead, and you're drawing the same garbage that you already had before. It kind of feels bad. Jar Greed also, he was playing very disciplined with the Jar Greeds, able to get plus value from those when they use their MSTs or Dust Tornadoes, Breakers, or whatever, and you're able to use those Jar Greeds, make them look like something else. So I think this is pretty solid. One thing I will say is that when the jig is up and your replays are available and people know what you're doing, they're going to play against you a lot different once they realize that you have no dust shoots and no solemns, and you're playing all these wing blasts. They're going to start to try to figure you out a little bit, and they're going to start to man up on you a little bit more. But it worked out well for Pim. He moved it all the way to a 4th place finish, and I think that is pretty dope. In the side deck, you got some text over here. You got that barrel behind the freaking door over here, and I saw him use that card to some decent effects. He almost got it off in a regular non-burn matchup, which I thought was pretty funny. The double Kinetic Soldier, double Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer, double Threatening Roar. We saw the Threatening Roar come into great effects as well, and we saw those Kinetic Soldier. That's another card that we might need to illuminate that these duelists are starting to utilize to combat this warrior-centric metagame that we're starting to find ourselves in, is the Kinetic Soldier. How good is that card? We saw it do some serious damage. We saw it save some lives. We saw it take out some high-profile cards in some great positions. So maybe Kinetic Soldier might be another card that needs to be experimented with a second copy of Tsukiyomi in the side deck. I think it's a cool deck. Magic Drain, tell me what you guys think about Magic Drain and Triple Wing Blast Chaos Turbo. Huge shout out to you, Pim, for your 4th place finish. All right, moving on to number 3. We're in the top 3 now, and we have Goat Trinity. Goat Trinity, hopefully you can draw some Trinity playing the Thunderclap strategy. Again, this strategy is solidified. I think it's a part of the game now. I think this is a strategy now that people are going to be playing. You're playing a true blue Thunderclap deck. You got the Magician of Faith in the building. You got the 2 Spies in the building. You got Reaper in the building. You got Zaborg in the building. You got 1 Trap Dust Shoot, 1 Dust Tornado. This deck is cool. Now this is a solid textbook example of what the Thunderclap is, and I think it is absolutely a rock star of a deck. We're going back to Dez Wombat. We got the Wombato in the side deck, the double Mobius, double Zumbira, very clean side deck, very clean and elegant side deck coming in for Goat Trinity. It seems like it can cover all the matchups you needed to do. The triple Sakuretsu Armor is going to be in the main deck, double Solemn Judgment in the main deck. I think this is really cool. Who's playing double Solemn Judgment really in a deck like this? Who's playing 1 Trap Dust Shoot in a deck like this? People will always be seeing shadows when they're playing against you because they won't have your ratios completely dialed in. The one of Bottomless Trap Hole finds its way into the main deck. So huge shout out to you, Goat Trinity, for your 3rd place finish in PWCQ number 49. Coming on in, back at it again with another top performance. We have Dueling High again. He won PWCQ 48. I think he topped PWCQ 47. This dude is just on a warpath. He's on a tirade playing these warriors yet again. I'll have to pull up the decks to see what the difference is between the previous warrior strategy that he played and this one that he has here now, but it seems like it's basically the exact same deck, card for card, which is kind of dangerous, I think, because with all this information that's available in GOAT format, these replays are available, your deck lists are available, these videos are available, people know what you're going to be doing. So to show up with the exact same deck again and still have some results, that's saying something. So that is some stone cold brass options coming in for Dueling High 101, but it worked out. He's playing very solid. There's something to that. To get significant back-to-back top performances, I think is really, really indicative of this duelist ability. So say what you will, but he has still got a 2nd place finish, and he was playing lights out all day. The deck still is solid. Kinetic Soldier's going to stay in there. The Wangoos are going to be in there. That Magician of Faith is going crazy for him. The Mycons are still going to be in there. Again, very similar deck to what he's been playing, and this is what it is. So check it out. Use it for yourself, and tell me what you think about the Warrior strategy. Huge shout out to you again, as always. Dueling High. We are in the Warriors. We are in the Warrior meta. We are in the aggro meta. I think it's solid. I think it's cool. But guess what? The Turbo players will not be denied. In 1st place for PWCQ number 49, 2-time PWCQ winner is going to be none other than Carl Waite. Carl Waite back in the building. Okay, I love this duelist. I can't get enough Carl Waite. I'm such a fanboy of Carl Waite. Oh my goodness, what can I say? Again, it's Chaos Turbo. This deck is going to be what it is. Pretty standard all around by all intents and purposes. Is a standard Chaos Turbo deck. But I will say that this duelist, he did do a lot for this strategy. You know what I'm saying? When people talk about Chaos Turbo and these ratios and how people play it now and some of the things that's come a long way, I think Carl has some impact on that. Playing Card Destruction, playing Thunder Dragon, he's some of the first people to do that. I'm not saying he created anything or made up anything, but he's definitely one of the first people to start doing these types of ratios and doing these things, and he's playing it very, very, very solid. I think it's a solid deck with the 2-2-2. Got the Trap Trinity in there, no Solemns. I still think it's time to go back to Solemn. I could be wrong. Carl was having some great success without it. He was navigating through the Solemn Judgments even without it. So I think it's pretty cool to not have it, but still I think it's time to go back to Solemn. Carl probably doesn't like Solemn Judgment. good for him, and it worked out. In the side deck, you got 2 Zombiras, 2 Kaiku, 2 Mind Control. Very clean and elegant side deck. Again, you know what I'm saying? I like seeing the 2 all the way through that thing. You got the 1-of Dust Tornado, and you also have the double Wing Blast in the side deck. That is very interesting from the Chaos Turbo player. You know, there's always this ever-raging debate between which card is better, Regeki Break or Wing Blast. Regeki Break or Wing Blast. Which one is better, Wing Blast or Regeki Break? Carl's going to play both of them and put one in for the matchup that better benefits. You're playing Turbo, I would expect to see Wing Blast, Dust Shoots being played. You're playing against Warriors, you're probably going to have those Regeki Breaks in, perhaps. You know what I'm saying? That's my idea. I don't know exactly what the signing patterns are, but that is probably what I would think that this duelist is doing. But again, I'm a huge fan of Carl Wake. I'm glad that he won his tournament, got first place, punched his ticket to the Go Format World Championship. I think he's one of the OGs of this game, and my hat is tipped to Carl. So much love to him, and congratulations for your first place finish. All right, looking at these decks, looking at the metagame, everything seems like it is back in line of what you would think it would be. I still think there are some things that people are starting to exploit. You know, there were 2 Chaos Turbo decks in the top 8. You had some Goat Control, you had an Earth Aggro, you had some Burn. You know, a little bit of mixed bag of all the decks that made it to the top. So I still think that there are holes and openings of things that can be exploited in this metagame, but that's up to you. Tell me what you think about it and down in the comment section, and tell me what your favorite deck was. I like Melkit's deck. I love the chaos, I love the calamity, I love what he's got going on there. But tell me what your favorite deck is, and make sure you get into the comment section, let me know. But that's all I have. As always, I'm JDZ. I play Ghosts. Until next time, shout out to all the real ones. Salute to the OGs. Peace.